This is Stay Paid, the marketing podcast that gives listeners a competitive edge to stay motivated, find inspiration, and discover proven real-world tactics from some of the best marketers across the nation.
Welcome to another Silver Dollar episode of Stay Paid. My name is Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke A. Cree.
And Instagram advice is a dime a dozen these days.
It is.
And just like Carl Sandburg said, beware of advice, even this.
I love
We're closing out our month of social media theme here with a little true or false. So we might uncover some myths, play a little true or false game.
I like it.
Today about Instagram. So we're kind of focused on Instagram. Instagram continues to be, I think it's like the 8th largest platform in the world. It continues to be the highest downloaded app on the App Store. So it's still beating TikTok on all those.
Surprised it's only 8. I guess it would be Facebook, YouTube.
Well, it's like the 8th largest searched for website.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
On the world.
That makes sense.
But what surprised me was it
user-based.
continues to surpass, like even like TikTok's, which is kind of like this trend, but it continues to in both users and
That's
obviously
because
downloads,
there's
like daily downloads.
And I'm not totally, up to speed on it, but it's because of all the campaigning against banning TikTok.
No.
It naturally causes, like I heard some theory that it's like, who is really lobbying this?
Yeah,
it's the tech companies. It's the Googles, Meta, of the world. They want TikTok banned. It's their competition, and it makes sense, right? I mean, and I'm of all people going, hey, we can't have espionage happening against us to a platform like that. So get rid of it if that is the case. But it is kind of funny when you follow the money.
Yeah. So I pulled 4 statements, and then I'm just going to ask you true or false,
Nice.
and then we'll kind of go through and you'll get some good tips out of this for how to apply some of your content on your Instagram. Number 1, sharing posts in stories. All right. So sharing your posts in your stories increases your engagement.
Increases your engagement on the post?
On your Instagram. Yeah.
On the post,
profile.
I would say true.
Okay. According to Brock Johnson, false.
Yes.
All right. So
he's a liar.
Well, what he basically is saying,
just kidding.
he's a liar because you've seen an increased engagement on your posts. I'm going to say false.
Engagement
with a caveat.
Engagement across your whole Instagram?
Yeah.
Probably not. There's probably minute. I was saying, like, I know when I post a picture, let's say of me and Megan, and then I post it to my story, I get more likes because the people that see it in my story are different than the people that maybe see it in the feed.
Yeah.
And they
that
go.
makes sense.
And I will make a caveat because you didn't say this, is carousels. Especially with carousels because people aren't seeing the whole photos on it. So anyways.
What his point here is, so it's kind of sensational to say like that's flat out false, but what his point is saying is that the algorithm does not like that. They're number one, they're boring to your audience, and story views are determined by story interaction. So positive interactions include liking the story, replying to the story, or interacting with stickers. Negative interactions include skipping stories, closing the app entirely, or only watching the start.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I bet you my story views are down on my post.
Yeah.
I bet you. I haven't even looked at that. That's a great point.
Kind of the point that he lays out here is, look, there's 2 options when you share a post in a story. People are intrigued by your post. They click your post, which then closes your story, which is a negative interaction as Instagram sees it. Or they aren't intrigued. They find it boring and they skip your story, which is a negative interaction.
Yeah.
So there's like 2... The potential outcomes both are negative.
So it helps your post, hurts your story.
Yeah, well,
engagement
hurts your overall engagement on your profile.
Yeah,
basically,
it makes
is what they're saying. So he gives some advice. He goes, look, don't share more than 1 post, and he's not saying don't ever share your post. He's saying don't share more than 1 post in your stories a day. Give context on why you shared the post, and include use stickers like emojis. Emojis or polls to gain positive interactions. So if you are sharing your post, do a poll or a slider or some sort of sticker that increases the likelihood of interaction on your actual story.
Great advice.
All right, number 2, Instagram Reels have the highest engagement rate of any post type.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one's obvious just by the actual data.
It's got some competition.
What's
so this is pretty
competing
up-to-date
with it
stats that I pulled. I pulled it from 2 different sources, but as frequent as March, Reels have a 1.95 average engagement rate.
Okay.
And engagement rate means out of the number of people that saw that thing, saw your post.
1.9 actually liked
1.92 did something.
Yeah.
They liked it, they saved it, they shared it, whatever. Carousels now, 1.92.
Whoa.
So right on the heels.
Man, it just shows you the platform just not manipulates, controls.
Yeah.
They just control. Like they wanted pictures to come back, especially carousels. And so they literally are pushing it.
Yeah, so they have absolutely kind of created this balance. I mean, Adam Mosseri himself said that they're balancing the reach of Reels and non-Reel content. Well, it turns out of those non-Reel content, carousels are blowing up because carousels, number one, they're shown to your followers more than once. They're easier. So what that means is Instagram will show you maybe the first slide. Okay. You kind of mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
Will show you the first slide to your followers. If they don't do something with that one, they will then, a lot of times, if you re-enter the app, they'll show you them the second slide.
Oh, I didn't realize they were doing that.
Okay, yeah. So they'll actually show you the second slide. I don't know that they go beyond the second slide, 3 or 4. So your one post has a chance to get served up to your followers 2 separate occasions.
Sick. That is sick. Well, we have changed to where we're putting out way more carousels, knowing that obviously.
This actually came from Ariel, our social media manager, sent me this one in terms of she showed me some examples of our carousels and how they're actually performing. The other things with carousels, they're easier to consume because the user can consume it at their own pace. So versus a reel where you're passively interacting with the content, carousel, you're actually proactively interacting with the content. Carousels surprisingly only make up 19% of Instagram content. So there's a big opportunity there if you're not doing carousels to get on that. And carousels with at least 10 slides, which is the maximum number of slides, have a over 2% engagement rate. So they actually surpass the average engagement rate overall.
Try something, I see a lot of influencers do this, something called like photo dump. It's basically where you don't really have anything to post.
Yeah,
but you just
go through your camera roll for April. Yeah.
You literally go just photo dump of April or photo dump of the week or something like that. And it makes it so much easier to post a carousel because a lot of times what keeps us from posting a carousel is we just don't know what to post. We think we need something like succinct or
super well designed, which you can. You can go to Canva. There's plenty of templates. Actually, that was one of the tips that Ariel gave was make sure that the opening slide is bold. Make sure that it tells you to swipe. I think I actually wrote this down. Telling people to swipe left increases engagement rates by almost 10%. So simply by putting on that first post, swipe left, you're increasing your engagement rates. Some other tips for carousel content, showcase your process. So that's a great way to be able to showcase how you do what you do. You can recommend vendors, products, or services that you offer. You can share testimonials. Or you can promote events. So you have an event upcoming. We talk about client events all the time. You can use that as a way to promote your event. You can show pictures from past events in that carousel. You can include details on the event itself within that carousel.
Another easy one that we've done is motivational quotes. 3 motivational quotes for your Monday. Yeah. And and then sometimes you can make it like certain people, like these influencers and how they think of X, type idea.
Number 3, using an external editing app for your reels hurts your reach for videos.
I would say true.
False. Now, here's how this is verified.
Wait, who said that?
Adam Mosseri himself.
Okay, well then it's definitely false.
Said that using an external editing app. So this was actually something that I used to believe. We believe that, hey, you've got to edit your reels inside of the platform because logically it makes sense. Instagram wants to keep people on their platform. So if you're using their platform to edit their reels, it's more likely that that's positive interactions as Instagram sees it. Turns out it doesn't really matter. Actually, Instagram's own @creator account recommends a bunch of different video editing apps. So if you're editing your apps outside of Instagram, do not stress. The thing that Adam Mosseri did confirm, though, is that watermarks in videos
TikTok
hurt your reach.
Yeah, TikTok.
Literally confirmed that basically if you take your TikTok.
If you put TikTok on there, they're taking it down, man. Yeah.
So that's one tip. Also, if you're using he didn't mention any specific ones, but if you're using something like InShot, which is a popular editing app, that the free version includes a little watermark. So if you're seeing a lack of reach, maybe check to make sure you're using that. Spend the extra $5 or $6 a month, whatever it is, to buy that video editing app. Number 4 and the final one, getting Meta verified. So this is a new thing in Instagram. Getting verified via Meta will increase your reach.
False.
It is false.
Yeah.
It is false. This is actually something that Instagram originally included in their notes for Meta verification, but they removed it just prior to the launch in the US.
It would be smart if they did it because they get more people to pay.
Yeah.
But then you'd have just tons of businesses in people's feeds, and that's why it's a bad idea.
It's interesting because Twitter did that. So Twitter with their blue check, they had $8 Twitter Blue. they actually state and said that people will be more likely to see your content, see your tweets, see your posts in other people's tweets also. But what you get with Meta verification, if you're not aware, you get that blue check next to your account name. You get increased account security, proactive impersonation protection, and then chat communication with Meta customer support staff. That's what Meta actually lists as what you get with that blue check. In order to be eligible, you have to have your full name in your IG handle or profile name, which is why we had to change Stay Paid's name to our names instead of Stay Paid Podcast. You have to have your face in your Instagram picture. Your account has to be at least 120 days old and two-factor authentication on, and your account has to represent one human being, which I found interesting because ours is 2 people.
That is interesting, but we still got the Meta Verified for Stay Paid.
Yeah.
I'm torn on the Meta Verified now.
I know, right?
Because like I haven't done it. Would happen. Yeah, I haven't done it for my profile yet. And the reason I'm torn, I'd be curious people's thoughts if they comment, whether it's on the YouTube channel or let us know, send us an email. It's everybody's doing it now. So it minimizes what it is, and everybody knows that. But what I'm nervous of is that the normal consumer sees it as an ego thing, not as a
trust signal.
Yeah, and I have a strong suspicion that people are seeing it as an ego thing. Yeah. It'll
be comments on not having the check mark is the legit cool way to go.
I know.
Brock Johnson actually said that he already was verified, traditionally verified, which is something that Instagram bestowed upon you if you were big enough. And he said he paid for it because he didn't want to lose it because they're talking about removing all of the legacy that everyone will have to move to paying towards it.
It will become a paid platform, Instagram.
Everybody that was legacy verified will have to pay to keep it.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Not everybody on Instagram.
No.
I got you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, but that's what I'm like, I don't think so. Like it's a great thing, but it's so dumb how they did it. They should have kept the blue check mark for famous people, and they should have made a different thing for verification of real accounts because there's so much spam out there, and it happens to me all the time. It just happened yesterday again, and getting messages from people going, hey, this person's pretending to be you. And it's like, we need to fix that problem, but you've basically minimized, and now you've made it an ego thing, or in the brand mind, like people kind of think ego, and that's gonna
what I would do is I would get it if you're eligible.
Yeah.
Because you always have the option to remove it. Who knows if you'll have the option
to get it in the future.
I don't know. I would go ahead and get it because
it made them a massive amount of money, man.
Yeah. So if you're eligible, you're going to get an in-app notification on your profile page. If you receive a direct message, email, or text message, that is not legit. That is a scam. You'll only get it within your profile. If you don't see that notification on your profile page, you can go into Settings, Account Center, Meta Verified. If it's not there, that means that you don't have access to it. This is available for creator and business pages, so it doesn't really matter what type of page you have. It's $15 a month, and in order to qualify, you will need to upload a government ID, which would be a driver's license or a passport. And then some of the benefits that are listed here is clout, which, as you're kind of saying, like how long will the clout last? The other big one is, if this is a concern for you, identity protection.
Yeah, it's the identity protection, which is really good.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. There's 4. What do we call them? Do we call them myths debunked? One of them was true.
That was very much like my high school education.
Were you nervous?
There. No. I hit 50%.
I wasn't keeping track, so there you go, 50%.
That sounds about right for Luke Acree in school.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. You can head on over to staypaidpodcast.com for the show notes and the video of this episode. If you like this episode and want to show your support, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review along with a comment. We will read it here on the show. And the best way to show your support is to share this episode with a friend. So over the weekend, I was trying to... These are so bad. I pulled 2 really bad ones. I apologize, everybody.
Okay, yeah.
I was trying to... Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I was trying to organize like a hide and seek tournament. It was hard though. It was a complete failure because good players are so hard to find.
Oh,
I had Ethan. I strung you. I was just reeling him in on that one.
The buildup was good.
If you want to get a hold of me or Luke, you can email us. He's such a nice
guy. He's like, the buildup was great.
He was leaning into that. He's like, yeah, okay, hide and seek. I'm following.
Nope.
You can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com, or you can find us on Instagram. We're at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Your action item from this, because you want to apply something here, right? I think your action item should be you need to be posting carousels, right? So if you're not, Josh said 19% right now of content on Instagram's carousels, so there's a ton of opportunity. Post carousels because it's literally close to the same engagement as an Instagram reel, and anybody who's been doing reels knows you get a ton more engagement on those. So go ahead and do something like the photo dump, the testimonials, your process, your partners.
Mix photos and videos. Sorry, mix photos and videos too is another.
Yeah, that's a great one. So do that as an action item. Remember the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single business. Top producers take action. Take action on that today.